Loved what he did. I want to thank the millions of people who have shown their love for Charlie here in Phoenix, across America, and worldwide. I want to thank my husband's dear friend, Vice President Vance, and his phenomenal wife, Usha, for their love and support. You guys honored my husband so well, bringing him home. You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump and his incredible family for the same. Mr. President, my husband loved you. And he knew that you loved him too. He did. Your friendship was amazing. You supported him so well, as did he for you. 2 days ago, my husband, Charlie, went to see the face of his Savior and his God. Charlie always said that when he was gone, he wanted to be remembered for his courage and for his faith. And one of the final conversations that he had on this earth, my husband witnessed for his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now and for all eternity, he will stand at his Savior's side, wearing the glorious crown of a martyr. Charlie loved life. He loved his life. He loved America. He loved nature, which helped him always bring him closer to God. He loved the Chicago Cubs. And my goodness, did he love the Oregon Ducks. He'd want me to say go Ducks, so I have to since they play on Saturday. So go Ducks. But most of all, Charlie loved his children. And he loved me with all of his heart. And I knew that. Every day I knew that. He made sure I knew that every day. Every day he would ask me, how can I serve you better? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? Every day. Every day. He was such a good man. He still is a good man. He was the perfect father. He was the perfect husband. Charlie always believed that God's design for marriage and the family was absolutely amazing, and it is. It is, and it was the greatest joy of his life. And over, he would tell all these young people to come and find their future spouse, become wives and husbands and parents. And the reason why is because he wanted you all to experience what he had and still has. He wanted everyone to bring heaven into this earth through love and joy that comes from raising a family. It's beautiful. Charlie always said that if he ever ran for office, I know a lot of you asked if he ever was going to, but privately he told me if he ever did run for office that his top priority would be to revive the American family.
Glad you made it this far. First thing I want you to do is go ahead and click subscribe. Make sure you like and share and support and subscribe to the notifications. Then when you get here, I want you to click the podcast link. You see that? Then I want you to go over there to where the arrows are pointing to the Beyond the Algorithm playlist and subscribe there. That way you get all of the updates. And now we'll continue.
What's good, brother? Glad you could make it. Unmute yourself, brother.
Are you hearing the echo?
Yeah, I was at first, but I got you.
Yeah, I was trying to, we got this tagged to my page, and I think a lot of the reason why people are not on it is because it says only to me. I don't know how to change that. I don't know. You didn't change the settings before you put it on there?
I think you had to do it on your page. You gotta go just change it to public.
Yeah, it won't let me do it.
Okay, I'll go to the page and then do something from there. But glad you made it, man. You know, I had a good little rant earlier about what this does for Black people, and I think everything that happens is outside our control is something that we can learn from. So what's your take on this whole situation and how it impacts Black people? Because this is my hail and farewell for conversations dealing with race, man. I'm done with the toxic relationship with other Black people's expectations. I got my opinions, and I don't care what people think anymore. I mean, I never really have, but I'm just saying publicly. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing around with nobody. What you got going on?
Oh man. A lot of people that look like you and I do not understand that you can be for what somebody is for and against what they are against. Finding common denominators. If we share a common enemy, then we can accomplish something in that regard. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. I'm listening, man.
Yeah. And we share a common enemy. And one thing about this Charlie Kirk is we can find common enemies when it came to the family unit. Charlie was not an ally when it came to being Black power. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Ally. He was not an ally when he was not Malcolm X. He was not Kwame Muhammad. He was not Martin Luther King. He was not Stokely Carmichael. He was not Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton. He was a white man that was against feminism, and he was against the Rainbow Coalition.
Yep.
That's where we had a common enemy. Women being in leadership disrupts the family unit. Children not being able to identify what gender they are disrupts the family unit. You understand? Because now we have people operating outside of their nature.
Yep.
The Black experience was not something that he could relate to outside of the family aspect where he spoke about fathers. It may even been some envy there. He still was a white man. He don't have the swagger that we have. He don't have the natural athleticism that we have. Could have been many factors on why he didn't have the wherewithal or the desire to understand what Black men went through. Because even when he responded about Black men, he said we have a culture where we leave the women versus the women having the power to walk away from us.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So what that's my take on it is this of Charlie Kirk has allowed us to have the conversation.
Yeah. Hey, BJ, Morphine, Benjamin Sharp, and HE Visuals, everybody's waiting backstage. I need y'all to be on camera, situated, and visual with good lighting before I bring you up. Because I don't want any, I want to make sure we get everything as clear as day. You know what I'm saying? This won't be a voice conversation. You will have to be on camera. So I'm going to play another video in a minute while everybody else is getting situated. I know BJ trying to get situated. He's been trying to, I've been seeing him moving around. But I want my go ahead, Dante, before I say what I got to say.
I say shout out to the intellectual sniper.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Sniper, man. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. What I want to say here is one of my main concerns is about um, the second and third order effects, meaning things like this embolden people. When you start seeing white people get knocked off by other white people on camera like that, it it changes the landscape because nobody cares about anything until a particular group that has the power to do something about it gets offended or hurt by it. Okay, so that's what happened there, in that situation. Before I play the next video, I want to get BJ's take since he's been diligently waiting to get on, man. So let me bring him up because he's been rocking with it, what I'm saying, and staying backstage and keeping cool. Everybody else, y'all pay attention to the private chat so you can come up and say your piece. I'm bringing BJ up now. You ready, BJ? Okay. What's up, BJ? What you got to say about the situation, man?
I don't know what the take was so far. I've been in and out the room. My phone been doing some stuff. Somebody had tagged me in it, let me know to be aware that y'all was doing this. So I was saying what people's problem was, what Charlie Kirk was.
The interesting enough, I most people's take on Charlie Kirk is that he was racist. He supported a lot of things that black people don't agree with, and at the same time, most black people just found out about this guy after he got killed. So I don't know how to fully gauge the macro perspective on it and how much of what he said impacted them. I followed everybody, you know what I'm saying? I pay attention to things on social media. I study conflict, I always have. And I look at the opinions that I can relate to and the ones that I can't. And I just look at how it also impacts and agitates other people. That's just literally what I do. That's my background and my skill set. So I just use that to have, intelligent conversation and dialogue with people that care about a solution. Now, most people I run into don't care about solving the problem. And the truth is, for some folks, they're like, man, they don't really care that much about it, so they don't have no input because it don't affect them. But then to another group of people, they like,
right,
yay, something happened to somebody that don't look like us, and now we get to jump and dogpile on the situation, without having any fully invested information about it. So what do you know about Charlie Kirk? I think that's a better start point.
I've been watching bro for like 2 years before the season happened. I've been watching him. When I first started watching his content, I didn't like him. The same thing with Candace Owens. I think what happens is when you hear somebody hold a mirror to what you are, what you're doing, and it's raw, it makes you feel a way about it. And I think what he did was hold a mirror up to us, and we didn't like what was said. We feel like, why is this white man speaking on our problems? But what he was speaking on wasn't a bad.
I don't want your point to get lost, man, but I think your connection is not doing you the right kind of justice. So if you can get in a better location with a better connection, you know what I'm saying, that will help us out a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying? I don't want your input to be lost on us. So in the meantime, while you do that, I'm gonna play a video. In the meantime, I'm gonna play a video. I'm gonna drop you from the main screen while you get that situated, and I'm gonna play a video.
Understand the far-right brain slop that went into the assassination of Charlie Kirk, we're going to have to understand groypers. And I apologize in advance, this is going to get very stupid very fast. So most people think that the MAGA movement is the far right of the Republican Party, but in fact they are quite wrong. The far right of the Republican Party is a group known as the groypers, which is a far-right white nationalist coalition that is effectively a personality cult around a young man named Nick Fuentes. Nick's ideology is a mixture of fascism in the vein of Mussolini or Dollfuss, Catholic integralism, or clerical fascism. These are very, very intense and fringe ideological positions. Nick also toys with neo-Nazism and has even quoted himself saying, I am well, you know. Nick Fuentes' goal is to work within the system to push the Republican Party even further to the far right. For him, MAGA is liberalism. And for Nick Fuentes, his biggest rival was Charlie Kirk. There have been what are called Groyper Wars, literally 2 separate Groyper Wars. And you need to understand, when I'm saying that the Groypers are a cult, he even has Groyper generals organized in a paramilitary fashion. Because Charlie Kirk had a massive organization, even back in 2019 when the first Groyper War starts, of 400 chapters at universities across the United States. This meant that Nick saw Charlie as the main person to be taking down so that he would be able to influence young people in the Republican Party more.
Charlie Kirk will not debate me because I would fucking devour him. I would eat him alive. And at the end of the day, that's going to happen one way or the other. Whether he chooses to confront me or not, whether he has dignity and honor or not, it's just a matter of time. My ideas are already there. I've already impregnated your organization. I took Turning Point USA and I fucked it. I took your organization, I took your baby, Turning Point USA, and I fucked it. And I've been fucking it. And that's why it's filled with Groypers. That's why your whole crew, that's why the people around you, that's why your chapter presidents, that's why your attendees, they're all Groypers. So whether you choose to confront me or not over the honor of your Turning Point USA, it's immaterial to me. I'd like it. I just get a sick satisfaction out of it because I like to win. But we're already there. And this whole ideology, Zionism plus free market, it's dead either way. You know it. I know it. Pretty much the whole world knows it's over. In the last 7 years, who's moved closer to who? Could anybody accuse me of stealing Charlie Kirk's ideas? No. Has Charlie Kirk every step of the way moved in degree closer to me? Tried to ape my bit, my ideas, my style? Oh, no question. No question. We already own you. We own you. We own Turning Point USA. We own this movement. Whether you decide to have dignity about it and face me or not, that's up to you. That's something you'll have to tell your children. When Nick Fuentes became the future, when the Groypers took over the movement, did you take a valorant last stand? Were you courageous? Were you bold? Did you go down swinging or did you go down like a bitch? Did you run and hide? That's the only thing when you're explaining that to your family, Mr. Family Man. When you're explaining to your wife, when she's saying, why won't you just debate Nick Fuentes? And you got to explain to her. When your kids grow up, why didn't you just confront Nick Fuentes? You got to explain to them why you were afraid, why you were a coward. That's the only difference. Immaterial to me. We already won. But anyway, we're going to move on.
And more importantly, he also understood he could use Charlie's events to push his own positions and also carve off people into his own movement. This included a tactic known as question and answer trolling, where he'd have his Groypers go up and line up one after another and ask increasingly extreme questions to Charlie Kirk to make him seem like a moderate in their eyes. And keep in mind, Charlie Kirk has some incredibly extreme views of his own, but you have to understand there are many different tendencies within the far right. And I need to stress that Nick's views are incredibly misogynistic and also incredibly anti-Semitic. This is one of the main reasons he was against Charlie Kirk, which is because Charlie Kirk was not anti-Israel. And Nick Fuentes' anti-Israel advocacy is something that he was able to carve into getting a lot more of a mainstream audience after October 7th. Because Nick Fuentes is smart enough to know that if he puts out a certain level of comms that is not overtly super far right, then he can get followers based on that. Meaning he was using Palestinian suffering to grow his white nationalist movement. The Groypers are driven by memes, as we can see in the engraving in the bullets shot and not shot at Charlie Kirk. We see 4 different memes here. many of them from video games. For example, the one that was shot at Charlie Kirk references a meme that's against furries. A second engraving that's a reference to the very popular game Helldivers, which is actually a satire against fascism. Third, that is a reference to a streamer that sings opera as he's playing first-person shooters and going after people. Or it could be related to one of 2 Spotify playlists for the Groiper Wars, which both feature a remix version of Bella Ciao. The fourth is just a basic internet troll. If you read this, you're gay. Now, recently, the Groipers have both declared war on Charlie Kirk last year and also more recently on Trump and MAGA as a general thing. So what we are seeing right here is right-on-right crime. And whether this guy is an actual Groiper or just adjacent to the movement, he's obviously evoking these memes for that purpose. We have to understand that far-right shooter after far-right shooter have used memes to present themselves to the other people in their movement across the internet. And Nick is not a pariah. He has his own think tank, he runs his own major conference. People in the Groiper movement work in the White House and for Republican Congress people. This is something that is part of the far-right world and part of normal politics. And this is incredibly dangerous. It's not that long ago that people's careers ended if they were associated with Nick Fuentes. And now they are just walking along the halls. If you're a young right-winger, you know who Nick Fuentes is, either because you're a follower of his and you look up to him, or you're incredibly against him. You have to work around the reality that Nick Fuentes exists. Nick Fuentes and his Groiper movement represent a much darker future, even more than you can ever imagine from the MAGA movement, which is quite extreme in its own extent. But this is a different vein that could possibly occur, and it is something that we have to all understand that is out there, and preying upon the insecurities of young men that Nick Fuentes is able to recruit across the internet. And this is a dangerous thing for everyone, everywhere. Now, all of this culminates in understanding one final thing. This is based around a theory called accelerationism. This is the idea that if you continue to make things worse, you can kick off the great revolutionary change that you want. And for Nick, he wants to create the literal race war, that he can achieve his final battle in the fascistic sense of this, where all of his enemies are destroyed and he gets to reign supreme as the great leader. And that is a real thing that he wants. That is a real thing that his followers believe. And they are willing to do anything for Nick to make that happen. Thank you for watching. Please do some engagement and give me a donation if you can.
There's a completely different set of conflict that's taking place that most black people have no idea about. And it ain't got nothing to do with us. And we over here just reacting and insulting each other because we agree with talking points. And it's a disconnect between people that listen to respond and people that listen to understand. So I want to get a good balance and good input from everybody on this, because truthfully, we shouldn't even be beefing with each other. We should be like, what information do you have that I don't have?
All right, folks. Appreciate you sticking with me to the end. This has been another episode of Beyond the Algorithm. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Go get the book. And most importantly, I will see you beyond the algorithm, because that's where life actually happens.